Howdy ho, I'm back and I am here to do another unpacking video. I've got a pretty good suspicion of what this is, mostly because I got email notifications and eBay notifications that it had been delivered, but I still like to play like it's Christmas. That's part of the fun of doing this, and I'm looking forward to showing you guys what it is. This is actually a pretty interesting piece of history. I'm going to try this end that isn't taped in the hopes that this flap might be easier to open. And I think I made the right choice. Sorry if you couldn't see me ripping that open. And also, if you got the time to comment, tell me what it is you want to see in an unpacking or an unboxing video. What is it that does it for you? Is it just the anticipation? Is it actually seeing the ripping? And this is really cool. And it's also very smart marketing. Captain Comics, like Captain Canada. Thanks for the order. Snap a pic and tag us. Well, when you give me an invite like that with the trouble of actually producing a postcard and including it in my order, then I probably will. It's really nice. Thank you for your support. We really appreciate it. We work hard to provide the experience and service we would want. Warren and Jaden Mitchell. Isn't that nice? From Captain Comics. So that's cool. Now, in a somewhat opposite theme, the comic inside here is patriotic for sure, but it's not Canadian patriotic. It is, in fact, oh, here we go. I'm not going to ruin it. I don't want to spoil it for you. I want to remove this tape. Again, great packing, fantastic packaging. Watching these videos, you can learn a lot about how to pack comics and cards, sometimes even without bubble wrap or standard expectations. But here it is. Captain America Goes to War Against Drugs. Produced in cooperation with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. So the FBI and Marvel Comics teamed up to produce this anti-drug comic starring Captain America. This is in really good condition for the age. It's from the late 80s, early 90s. And the story behind this is another one I did not even know existed until recent. I found out it a few years ago, but I hadn't actually known what it looked like or owned one until just recently. This is the first time I've owned it, but I only found out what it looked like even recently. So if you're new, I'm in Canada. And in Canada, in the early 90s, when I was a kid, when we had bike rodeos and safety things, and when police visited schools, they handed out these free comic books. What we got was Spider-Man comics, and they started with Spider-Man Skating on Thin Ice, which was a Spider-Man comic illustrated by Todd McFarlane, featuring the villain Chameleon dealing drugs to children in schools. And it was an anti-drug comic just like this one. But there was a series that continued with different themes in each issue, and there was 5 comics altogether, and I've got a full set here, and they'll end up on eBay eventually, and you might be able to find them. The original first issue of the Spider-Man one was Skating on Thin Ice. Now, from my understanding, what I've heard from other collectors and things online is that not all 5 issues of that Spider-Man series were handed out in the United States when police visited schools, because some of them were specifically Canadian themed. There's an issue where he's in Calgary at the Calgary Expo. There's an issue where he's in Montreal at a Montreal Expos game. But in the United States, this one was handed out very often instead of some of those Spider-Man comics. So this was one of those things where, now, do the FBI visit schools in the United States? I do not know. But I'm guessing whenever there was a general authority presentation, health and safety, or not health and safety, I'm not sure, anti-drug thing. Like I said, we got them from bike rodeos. When you completed a safe bicycle skills test, police would be in the parking lot at our school. You'd get on your bicycle and you would show them that you knew how to use the proper signals and turn and stop and what to do in an emergency and blah, blah, blah. And you'd get a comic book at the end. And so I'm guessing that something similar happened in the United States with this one. And I'm pretty sure that the Skating on Thin Ice Spider-Man one was handed out in the United States too, but it's the later issues that I'm not sure of because they had more of a Canadian theme. But anyway, when I found out about this, I knew I had to get it eventually, and I finally did. I found a great deal on this on eBay, and I grabbed it, and fantastic packaging, great seller, very happy to have it, and really looking forward to checking this out and reading it. Some vintage War on Drugs era comic book propaganda that I'm sure will entertain. So this is going to be added to my personal collection, and I'm going to read this and go through it, maybe give my thoughts after I've had a chance to check it out. But this is what has arrived today. Now, in the meantime, I usually plug something for my eBay page. I happen to have some signed comics that were recently listed on hand nearby, so I'm just going to pick one or two here. You know, it's so hard to choose. I've got a Crimson Plague signed by George Perez. Since I mentioned it, I'll show it. I can't remember if I've plugged this one before, but it is an Image one, so it's actually reprinted from a few years later than when Crimson Plague was originally published, because they reprinted it at Image. And it's autographed by George Perez, who I met, I believe it was 2005. Same year I met Peter Laird, but at different conventions. Also, what have I got here? I've got Steampunk Palin, signed by Jim Felker, who is one of the artists on this. First issue, it's signed. Liberty Meadows, signed by Frank Cho. The first Image issue, which was number 27. And if you want to go way, way back, here's a copy of Suicide Squad, number 41, signed by artist Jeff Isherwood. And I have a number of comics signed by him of Suicide Squad. And a couple of them are listed right now. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, check out my eBay page. You can find it linked from my main creative page, which is mikegagner.ca. You can find that address in the description. And also, just a heads up, these videos are brought to you by me. I'm the sponsor. There's no other sponsor, because I love this stuff, and that's why I do it. So thank you for watching, and remember, Cap says no to drugs. Have a great day.